Welcome to the West Indian Women Network. I am Priscilla Ramcharan here in the United States, and I've invited our second place Read Ya Ting Poetry Contest winner, Kasi Senghor. Welcome, and please introduce yourself.
Thank you very much, Priscilla, and thanks to the West Indian Network.
You're
My
welcome.
name is Kasi Senghor, and in a few days' time, I will be ending my 75th year of life, beginning the 76th. I hope I make it to that date. I've been writing for a very long time. Actually, I would say I doodled in school, but as a young adult, especially after age 21, I began writing with a little more purpose, because when in 1970 I was 21, and it was the era of Black Power, I became very interested, very involved, and I began writing poetry around those themes. Um, the poem with which I placed second is one of those poems which I wrote very early in that time. Um, it was influenced actually by uh, I would say, the Black Power movement, by my experiences as growing up, and reflecting then on how I grew up and so on, and also by another poet by the name of Abdul Malik, who who really sort of inspired me, and also introduced the idea of African India. In the Black Power movement, we had a poster. One of the themes that we had there was Indians and Africans unite.
Oh, I love that.
And in the poem, Malik himself, he coined the word Africandia, which I borrowed for the poem in the poem itself. So beyond that, I have been writing. After a while, I joined an international poetry group called allpoetry.com online, and it is there that I really expanded myself. There was a lot of learning to be done because this is international. I had not been exposed to other writers, of that type. Of course, I had been reading poetry, local, Caribbean, international, and so on. Here and there, not to any great extent. But by joining the allpoetry.com, I became more intimate with writers from all over the world, and who had their various styles and so on and so forth. And I became very interested and inspired by what is called form poems. So there are quite a number of different forms of the genre of poetry. And I would like to think that I attempted all that came under my vision. I really made, because on that side there are contests, I would say hundreds of contests every day.
Yeah.
Members of the site have host contests. I myself have hosted quite a number. We get what I call cyber cups, gold, silver, and bronze, cyber,
Oh,
in a contest and so on. We
nice.
also, I would think that we're also privileged to have uh, reviews by the host and other contestants and other readers who would make comments on our poetry and so on. So at that beginning time, I used to do like about maybe at max, well, it's really at max, but it's a lot, like it was pouring out at that time when I started there. So I would like do like all 5 poems a day. I was at home.
Wow.
Yeah, I had already retired and so on. And, 5 poems a day, and reading all the rest and making friends on the site and all that sort. So that is how my progress as a writer has continued. I've also been involved locally with the Writers Union of Trinidad and Tobago,
Oh, yes.
where I joined that again as a young man, and I was elected at one time to be the president. I became the president of the Writers Union.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Congrats.
yeah, and it was a very good experience because a lot of the folk were older than I was. I don't know if they thought about succession planning at the time. That might have not have been a phrase, but certainly it was. I was a young man to the ones, and they were writing for many years before me. As I could recall now, they would have had uh, the opportunity to look at my work, and I could see now in front of me red ink, blue ink, pencil marks on my work
Ooh.
where they would, where they would be writing and
Editing,
correcting and
suggesting.
editing and, letting me have it. Because, of course, that time we didn't have any, what do you call it, cell phone and all this sort. So
Apps.
everything was on hand, by
Right.
hand, and by heart also,
Oh, I
So
love that.
I grew up in that kind of milieu with elder folk who inspired and worked with me and so on. And then I don't recall why. Well, of course, it was not like to say a situation of being president for life or for long or anything like that. And I
Right.
would not have wanted that either. Anyway, life went on, and I was no longer the president. But a few years later, they called me back, and so I was president for a second time.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it's a similar story with the Circle of Poets of Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes.
I was invited to be a member. A friend said, "Hey, you know, I know you were in the Writers Union and so on and so forth. And we have the Circle of Poets and so on. They were already established and doing good work and having stuff and so on."
That's
So I said,
wonderful. Yes, I would love to read more of your work. I love learning about Trinidad history, Caribbean history. And by the way, happy almost birthday. 76 is the new 40 something,
"All
right?
right,
And
right,
Trinidadians don't age.
yeah." Well, it will be called 75 because it's my 75th birthday.
Oh, 75th. Wow.
It'll be called
That's
75,
amazing.
but I like to look at it as I'm entering the 76th year.
Oh, you're a year
Of,
ahead.
no, I'm not. Well, I'm not a year ahead because on the day I will have ended 75. My
Gotcha.
75th birthday. You
Okay.
know what I mean?
Interesting math.
Yeah,
No, that's wonderful.
that's another way of looking at the maths and looking at birthdays. Yeah.
I gotcha. I love it. I love it. So happy almost birthday.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So basically, from youth, writing has been a part of your environment, a part of your world up until now.
Yeah.
How did that help you prepare for the poetry contest with us?
Well, as I was saying before we started to record, it was my intention to win after I saw the criteria and so on. I there was there were there were various poems from which I could have chosen to render, but this one was very close to my heart. It was an early one, and I thought that it had the kind of meaning and the way I had done it in many styles already. I knew it by heart, and therefore I figured I could dramatize it and make it into something for this occasion, and I did that.
Your performance was incredible. Again, second place. I mean, that's still amazing, right?
Yeah, thank you.
You're
Yeah,
welcome. So tell us more. You told us about your inspiration with Africandia. Tell us more about your motivation each day to keep going.
Right. So the discipline that I have formed over the years with the allpoetry.com continues. I am no longer writing on that site, I would say, as often as I used to. Well, that would have been, I would have slowed down somewhere around August of last year, which had primarily to do with the passing of my son and so on.
Oh,
But
condolences. Oh, wow.
yeah,
I'm so
but
sorry to hear.
yeah, but even so, it was my intention. I said, look, let me do some short story writing. In my second book is like this. I
Let's see.
do have a short story in it, just one. The rest is poetry. So I thought I would, but I've always been shy of doing that. I'm always shy about doing these things in the beginning. My first book, which is called Poems I'm Afraid to Say, speaks to that shyness.
Oh.
You know, at that time, of course, I was a bit very timid about saying the poems, not about writing them. But
Right.
coming back closer to now, yeah, I am writing. I would say that I've started back to write with what hits me.
Yes.
To come to the present moment where we are right now speaking. This morning, while on my bed around probably 3 o'clock or so, I awoke. I didn't get off the bed. I awoke, and lines started coming into my head. This is sometimes the case. I wouldn't say more than less, but often the case. Lines start coming into my head,
Mm-hmm.
and what I thought that where I saw these lines were heading, they weren't actually heading there at all.
Oh,
But
of
I
course.
I got up and I began to put them on my phone. I I have been in the habit over these years again of writing on my phone,
Good,
not
good. Yeah.
not with pen and paper anymore. That I passed that long time, so it's always on my phone that I write.
So
So
you're
that
saying the words lead you. A line comes to you and the words just take
yeah,
over itself.
yeah, two lines came to me
Uh-huh.
actually, and then two more and so on. And I say, well, look, because of how this is happening, I think I better get up and put them down.
Indeed. Never
And,
depend on your memory, no
yeah,
matter what age.
that's right. So putting them down, now I began to realize that they were heading towards the very former fifth Prime Minister, Mr. Basdio Pandey.
Oh, wow.
And I said, well, imagine that.
And today's a very special day if you want to mention what.
Yeah. So I, I did that, and there we have it.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So I wrote 20 lines, and when I looked at them before editing, of course, I thought that you know it was. I thought it was a good poem. I mean, I could judge myself.
That's
You know,
right.
I don't want to fool myself about stuff. And I say, hey, but this is a very good poem, man. And so I edited and made it into what it is now. And I even posted it on Facebook.
Congrats. You don't waste time.
No, I didn't waste time. You know, Sent it to particular folks, one of whom is my daughter, and then to a particular radio announcer friend of mine. And my very first person was a group of friends with whom we have been friends for like over, well, when I calculated, it was about 48 years.
Wow.
We have been,
So much history here. I wish we had met sooner so I can hear all about this, but I can't wait to get my hands on more of your work. But where can our viewers find your books?
okay, the first one, Poems I'm Afraid to Say, can be found, I believe, only in the library. It is a local publishing by one of my mentors, Anson Gonzalez, who
Okay.
was also poet laureate of Trinidad and Tobago,
Wow.
and who was part founder of the Writers Union of Trinidad and Tobago.
Oh,
So
wow.
that is this one poems, I'm afraid to say. As you can see, the red is what to say
I love it.
statement.
Yes,
As a
yes.
red statement. That's because of, as I say, local public. This was sold at the time like about, I can't remember, like $25 for one
Oh, wow. And this is which library?
NALIS, the National.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing. Okay. And
Yeah,
the
so
other two?
this one is self-published by Ex Libris,
Okay.
American. Yeah, it's called It's Like This.
I love that. And so
Yeah,
where can we find those?
um, on Amazon,
Oh, nice.
on Ex Libris, and also in NALIS too.
Oh,
And
perfect.
not in any local bookstore, but I can assure
Yet.
you that over 200 people would have had a copy of this because I
Oh,
know
wow.
that I brought down about that number of copies, and this is the only one I have. So,
Perfect. So I'm going to put
yeah,
all of this information in the description box so our viewers can find your books. And this one.
yeah. And this one, well,
Wow. Beautiful
this
cover.
one, yeah, this one is called Fire's Voice.
Uh-huh.
The design is by Ex Libris again. And it's really, how come I did a second one with Ex Libris is because they had offered two when I first published, but I didn't want to give them, I didn't want to have two books just like that at one time.
Okay.
So I waited a while and then I decided, okay, let me do it. And then they were kind of running me down and
Uh-uh.
the time was running out too, you know, for,
Yes.
for that offer. So what it ended up with is that a number of the poems in the third one were even written before the poems in the second, because I had to, although I had many poems that I could have chosen from, because, there's a kind of a rush. Anyway, that's how it has ended up. So this
I
too is in the
understand.
library on Amazon and that kind. And
Perfect.
Ex Libris themselves would have copies, but I don't know where they
Awesome.
market.
Well, I kindly invite our viewers to support Kasi Senghor's work. We'll put the links in the description box. I can listen to your stories all day. So you'll have to come back on our channel and share more about your work and all
Yes,
that wonderful creative sauce that you
that's
have.
right.
So do you have a final message for our viewers?
Oh, certainly, especially those viewers who are into writing poetry.
Hmm.
I would like to suggest that you keep up the work. You may start by thinking, oh, this is private, this is mine, I don't want anybody to see this. But eventually, I think sharing what you have written is of importance to the entire world because you would be surprised as to how many people share, what you think is just you alone, and
Hmm.
maybe be very receptive to what you have put in print. So to those poets, I say keep on writing. To all writers, especially in the local field, now that we have like Boca Slit Festival and other uh, avenues for writing and so on, make use of whatever is there. I think we have one member of our chat group there, Garnet Lawrence.
Oh,
You know,
yes.
yeah, great success. Congratulations to him. And I also want to congratulate our first and third place winners. And to all the viewers out there, I hope that you all have a very excellent 2020,
Wonderful
whatever you do.
message. Congratulations to you as well, Garnett. Abby K. You all were amazing. I was blown away by the talent, and I wish everybody could have won first place, but it's a contest.
All right.
So we'll invite you back for the next ones for sure.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Priscilla, and to your network. I want to wish you all the best.
You're
You are doing
welcome.
a great job promoting
Thank
poetry
you.
and writing.
I appreciate
I
that.
look forward to any other future contest. And again, I intend to win when I look at the criteria.
You're at the top of the list for invites, okay?
Okay.
Really awesome interview. Come back and tell us more stories outside of poetry. We want to hear all about Trinidad.
Sure.
Happy
Sure.
New Year.
My
Say
pleasure.
bye.
Happy New Year to you, Priscilla. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.